stage, they might suddenly see something. It's like, wow, that's actually really strong. Let's try that next game, and all of a sudden you get something completely different. So we'll begin game 1 here.
5 seconds.
As far as bans go, I think Liquids are pretty standard. You know, obviously EG has multiple strong puck players, so they're going to ban that out. And of course, the Sand King has been one of their go-to 4-position supports. Very similar to Newbie in that regard. I think the way Kaka utilizes the hero well, so too.
Yeah, I think the Sand King is perhaps less important because, you know, what is his face? Nice, beautiful face. Sorry, forgot his name for a second. He has like really good Kunkka.
Is that like the brain?
Oh, this is a brain
like,
fart.
who has a beautiful face? The guy that has a beautiful face. Oh, Zai.
Zai, yeah. He has, you know, a lot of other good like strong 4-position, Night Stalker, Kunkka. But against Team Liquid, I think that the 2 heroes that they always ban out is Io and Mikado. Because whenever they do have it, they have some insane cheese strat.
Here comes the Visage. I haven't seen Liquid run it. I assume it's a core Visage, like the way OG has been running it safely. And I've heard there's been a little mid Visage. Not actually sure if that was Liquid or somebody else, but Gods' dream scenario has come to life. We were seeing this in MDL a little bit. The rise of the Visage picks.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise you if GH or Kuro start playing it either, right, Lance?
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see, you know, how versatile the hero really is, and you know, what is the strongest way to run a Visage.
I think that is a strength, like the fact that he can be run in multiple, so bring effectiveness to. Elder Titan is gonna be, I believe, Zai's hero, unless something crazy is happening.
It's an early Elder Titan grab too.
Maybe it's one of those things where the teams have scrimmed against each other, and EG knows that it's not gonna make it past the ban phase 2, so they're gonna just pick it up rather for themselves.
Yeah, it could also be part of a prepared strategy here. Obviously, most teams try to leave something in the back pocket for the main stage, especially teams that feel very strong coming in. But yeah, you look at this group, Liquid might be the toughest opponent EG will have to face, at least one of the top 2 or 3 guards. So maybe they have a prepared strat. I guess we're gonna find out soon.
I gotta say, the Echo Stomp plus Firefly, not exactly the best combo in the book.
No.
But Flaming Lasso does set up into a great ultimate Elder Titan, so.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways you can go with that spirit, right? Like, Zeus comes to mind as a really great partner for the Elder Titan. We've seen that a lot, like Terrorblade, other illusion-based heroes, where it really shines, but...
You go pretty cheesy with Tinker.
Yeah, Tinker Cheese used to be a really popular combo. I don't think I... Titan as a duo, anyway, a while, but...
What he is really good at, like, forget about the combos for a second, is that the fact that Elder Titan could roam into different lanes early on into the game. With only boots, you could just start trucking mid heroes. You run that spirit over a couple of heroes, couple of creeps. You see Boba in particular from
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
C just going to work all the time with the Elder.
Turn to pick.
I think Zai is going to be
well,
taking it.
Boba did invent Elder Titan.
That's true. He invented it as a 3. And then now reinvents it again.
No, he invented it as a 2. You remember the Bulba Elder Titan mid?
Okay.
Yeah, where he just maxed the spirit and the aura.
Oh, he just invented it all, I guess. Even Dota itself. It's probably invented
Bulba is Ice Frog, which... That's what Ice Frog is like in real life. They grabbed the Nature's Prophet, Lumi. This is an interesting selection.
Yep.
I'm honestly just interested. How do they run it? Is it an offlaner for mind control?
Most of the time it is, but then they also retain the ability to play it from the safe lane. Man played a couple of times. Very similar to Visage, its ability to lane in a lot of different position, and more so, he could get a ton of different items. You know, we could sit here and debate about MP's item choice till the dawn comes up. Pretty much could buy anything that's available. Sort of thing.
That might be tested. We'll have to see. EG grabbing the Veno, the Arteezy special. Elder Titanara with the Veno ult.
Yeah,
a lot of magic damage there. Some natural synergy.
And in particular, a very good hero against Visage. One of his strengths is the fact that he could keep his Gravekeeper's Cloak online and just wear off a lot of that damage. Venomancer breaks that cloak off fast. Gotta keep in mind, under those cloak, you have what is a 10% magic resistance as a base here. That is squishy as heck. Very strong counter pick in my opinion. Again.
Also a very vision-heavy lineup that we see out of EG. selected, so all the minions now assemble. Familiars, the treants, and the wolves brought to bear.
10
Lots of
seconds
push
remaining.
potential here, lots of Roche taking potential. But
5
as
seconds
good as a
remaining.
push lineup as it looks, it's always hard going high ground against Elder Titan. And, that's to say nothing of the Bat Rider and the Venom.
Yeah,
They have a lot of D push.
The one thing I love about Team Liquid's draft is that if you could go back and look at their drafts for the past 6 months, and I have, one thing that always come into commonality or common factor is that they always have 1 or 2 pushing heroes. If it's not an MP, it's Shadow Shaman, or a Lone Druid, or a Lycan. Kuro never draft without push.
Or a Miracle Invoker is probably one of the other huge staples there.
And you compare to, let's say, something that we casted just last game, you're like wondering, where's this push coming from? You never need to worry about that when it comes to Team Liquid. And
it is heavy on the physical damage, so Wyvern could be a great solution for that.
Also a good solution against any kind of Zoo strat coming out of Lycan, right? If Lycan goes for the Necrobook build, get that curse in the middle,
10 seconds
just gets
remaining.
absolutely destroyed. Good against the birds as well, if you want to put that into.
And it's more
5
D push.
seconds
So
remaining.
EG, great stalling lineup here. Good against physical damage. But still no real carry. I guess at this point we're waiting on the Sumail hero. What comes to mind for you? Sumail heroes that I always think of are the Storm, the Lina. Probably the 2 biggest ones. Beyond that, he can play a lot of different things. Anything jump out at you?
Turn to ban.
No, I can't really have one hero in mind be like, oh, this is the pick. They go into a lot of different directions depending on how they want to approach the game, whether you want...
Ember Spirit's another big one, I think, that we used to see a decent amount of.
Yeah. Ember is risky in the sense that you could get fissured and then the familiar drops on you and you could just die. It's very
5
easy
seconds
for
remaining.
MP to pick up a Orchid and that makes things difficult for you.
EG's turn to pick.
Interesting in an Alchemist band out. I guess Alchemist would have addition to the nice counter push with the Acid Spray.
Yeah, and also just
10 seconds
a mega
remaining.
carry that I don't know that Liquid have the best single target burst to be able
5
to
seconds
outdamage that
Liquid's
regen.
turn to pick.
Faceless Void.
So it's a Void last pick, which means who's playing what? It's really the question now. So Arteezy Veno has been normally the way they would run this.
I mean,
A
I guess
it's like a Sumail Bat or Void, or is it a Veno
10
mid?
seconds
is this the
remaining.
rumor Wyvern carry? I saw Ice tweeting about it, but
5
I don't know if it's
seconds remaining.
actually a thing.
Yeah, I wonder how surprising this is to Liquid. Is this something that shocks them and they're like, what the hell is going on? Or have they already gotten a bunch of intel, heard how EG is drafting, and this is like, oh, yeah, we heard they were scrimming and doing that. Nothing
So,
too surprising.
Liquid has been scrimming anti-mage mid, right? It's a thing that they've tinkered with the past. You do get an extra creep in the mid lane, so in theory you can put a hero like Faceless Void in the mid lane and just have him farm there. It's a new look for me personally seeing Sumail playing the hero, but I'm sure he could definitely play
So
the hero.
tri-lane mid Void?
Or dual lane mid,
I mean, none of these Liquid heroes are that devastating mid lane. Even Visage, Void will be fine against it. Your Quelling Blade, you'll be able to CS pretty easily.
Ah!
Your heroes.
Alright. Matumba Man Brood.
All
Mind
right,
control.
we're all over the place. So it's a
Yeah.
Miracle Lycan going mid. Matumba Man, Brood, a Mind Control problem. I mean, talk about the summons. Oh my god, that push hard.
Can you go mid with
It could be
the
a mid.
Brood instead?
Brood can go
Yeah.
mid, yeah. So
Oh, let me tell you how on spiders. Wait, no, it doesn't work on summons, right? It works on heroes and your own summons. No, I'm pretty sure it does work on summons.
it does work
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the spider.
Yeah,
lanes.
Brood.
Unless
how,
they change something.
How spiders and how treants and how birds? How are they doing it?
Tongue twister. Oh dear. What is going on, Lumi? I've been thrown for a loop. You've got a Sumail Void. I mean, everyone's, I even saw some tweets going out about the Universe Void earlier today, but this is, the rumored new meta was the hard carry mids with the tri-lanes backing them up, or at least dual lanes. See if it works out. What a ratty lineup from Liquid. I just can't get over how
Oh my god, can you
obnoxious
imagine?
they're going to be to play against.
Can you imagine how much damage Elder Titan's gonna get off of Spirits? He's gonna just run over like a zoo and a half of things. I gotta say, like, I think the volume of summons EG doesn't care about, right? Because you have things like Splinter Blast and you have things like Spirits and Stomp. They don't care how much
Even
stuff you have.
Firefly.
Yeah, you just get everything. So
let's find out. The Zoo strat has emerged, and to counter it, got some big wombo combo from EG. Start things here on the Dire side. Radiant. Battle. Scriff will fearless guide through this crazy, uncharted territory.
yeah, if any kills are missed, it's
Yeah.
Just
And
wanna
also
point that
be
out.
sure to flame him.
yeah. If he doesn't miss any
At
kills,
Scriff on Twitter.
if he doesn't miss any kills, it's just he's doing a normal job. But if he does miss anything,
And if he does a good job, be sure to congratulate him at Wepis. Let everyone know what a great job he's done.
yeah. I always find it I don't know, a little weird that they put it in the beginning. It's so risky, right? What if you miss like level 1 Roche or something?
If you miss a level 1 Roche, I think you should actually be fired from your job as a dedicated observer. No hesitation.
You could be having an off day.
Fired.
Crit flies up in the air and mind control says see ya. It's effective. Arctic Burn.
So, Lumi, this is a very unusual draft, at least for us. And I think, coming into this tournament, certainly some unexpected picks and the strategy, the way they're looking to lane it. See Kuroki getting harassed a little bit here as he backs away. Has 3 napalm stacks on him.
Uh-oh.
Tanking the stapler might actually... Okay, GH comes in to assist. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the lineups, the overall strategy. They're weird picks, yeah, but it does seem like each team has their clear game plan in mind with what they've picked. I'll let you start.
I think a large part of how the early game will go is determined by Zai's rotation, because given on how many summons that are available, it's so easy for him to pick up a bunch of damage and run people. I don't think Visage and Shake... They're good at kind of forcing kills and bursting people. They're not very good at keeping up with the rotation of Elder Titan. So I think he is the X factor for the early...
Yeah, looking at this offlane right now, I am a little concerned for Miracle and the Lycan. Seems like a good Batrider lane. There's not a whole lot to punish him.
Yeah.
You've got a support Visage and the Shaker. There's pretty limited lockdown. You're not going to be able to hit him that hard because 2 of these heroes are melee. But Zai maybe could get punished as they're just going to look to auto-attack him, get the Fissure Block, Elder Titan low, but has that move speed. Trucks his way out of there. Now coming in from the flank is Crit, looking to lend an assist. They're going to punch GH down. Elder Titan stays alive and then actually limping forward, looking for Kuro too.
Kill?
This Batrider might find more. That's 5 napalm stacks it looked like. Is he'll end up going down. 4 on Miracle. TP right back to the lane. So bottom lane
Dire's courier has been
looking
killed.
very difficult. Meanwhile, the Dire Courier got sniped as Matumba Man dives deep to pick it off.
That's something I've noticed about Sumail. Like, whenever he delivers the courier mid, there's just a good chance that the courier just dies. Like, just walks into the lane a little bit too. But beautiful play by Crit there. Obviously, the rotation, secure the kill. But the way that he uses the Arctic Burn, apply the debuff on 2 different heroes off of 2 different auto attacks, and ensure 2 kills. Sick play there.
I also like how EG is picking fights early because you're up against the Nature's Prophet. If you wait to take those fights 4 or 5 minutes from now, likely Mind Control shows up and Nature's Wrath might be in play at that point, and all of a sudden, instead of getting a kill or 2, you're giving up multiple and potentially losing the tower off the back of that. So finding these early opportunities to me is extremely important for EG.
Yeah, finding those opportunities before the levels, like you said, but also before the phase boots. Can you imagine, like, 3 minutes in, Prophet shows up with phase boot teleport? Your hero is going to just get ran down simply due to the fact that he has so much more damage and movement speed this stage of the game.
So, meanwhile, in the middle lane, Matumba Man is playing the mid brood. We've actually not even officially acknowledged it, though you guys have seen it on screen. Thoughts on the mid brood this game, Lumi? Does it feel like a good opportunity? Should EG be doing anything to adjust for this? And Matumba Man is free farming, and Mel seems to be having a pretty bad time so far.
I mean, what the hell is a Void gonna do against Spiraling running in your face?
Beg his Elder Titan to come mid, I guess.
Yeah. Like, he won't die or anything, but he's actually making the walk of shame, and Matumbaman is gonna just take down this build. I think the bigger question to me, whether Matumbaman is... Because it's easy to win the lane, it's easy to push down the tier 1 tower, but moving forward, what distinguishes a good brute player and not so good one is your ability to play with your team and, you know, having the efficient farming and such things like that.
Good dive in the bottom lane as Kurogi gets picked off. This Batrider continues to ramp up the aggression, become more and more of a problem as Miracle is roasting under this tower. He is getting absolutely bullied. 7 CS on the Lycan, multiple deaths to his team's name here. Still no sign of that assist for Mind Control. I mean, at some point you'd love to see the Prophet come in. Now he has the phase boot, so perhaps the next time EG go for the dive, he will be in play. But for now, historically, Batrider has been very good at punishing certain melee heroes in the safe lane, and the Lycan is definitely on that list, especially without the right supports to back him up. And I would not call Shaker one of them.
Or Visage. Yeah. One of the problem with Visage is that you need to find a good lane for him to get levels. He tends to do very little until he hits like level 4, 5, 6. And I just don't see where he is going to get that level.
Of course, to some extent, I feel like this is a game where Lycan can come back because the rest of the team also pushes, so they're going to go, EG's going to go defend somewhere, and then the Lycan's either going to be able to farm the jungle, take a tower. Like, they're guaranteed, unless they get completely raffle stomped, to take most of these outer towers, you know, within the first 20, 30 minutes, and he will be able to get a decent chunk of gold through that, and maybe the Roshan is open. It's still a really slow start for safe lane Lycan who's been getting help.
Yeah.
And it is very much due to the matchup.
I think to me this game for Team Liquid is going to be on the shoulder of Mind Control, as well as Matumba. They are the ones that are getting the good lane. In fact, if you look at the top lane, Mind Control is up half a level, perhaps even a full level over RTZ. He's got the Wrath, and I think with the Wrath available, EG is not afraid. Or sorry, EG should be very afraid if they're going for
And Liquid is much less afraid of that dive. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, is kind of like when teams used to, you know, back in the old LGD International days where they would push with the Eclipse up on the Luna. It was all about, like, the threat of the Eclipse more than actually using it. And that's kind of true here, where for Mind Control, it's great if they don't fight and he just has the Wrath ready and EG are set back on their heels. And for EG, no Chronosphere just yet for Sumail. Batrider, of course, won't have to blink for a little while yet. And no Venomancer ult, so the push can commence, and it will do so now. Mind Control gets to work. Tower's about to drop. The way to the jungle begins to lie more and more open. Meanwhile, that mid tower has been poked at a little bit, so might see that Prophet make a move towards mid soon and try and pressure Sumail's tower a bit.
I wonder how much of the level advantage is due to the fact that Mind Control has been taking Serpent Wards one after another. Or Plague Wards, rather.
He's hitting a lot of creeps too, though, because you look at the actual raw gold advantage for him, and he's up 1,300 gold already, so obviously Plague Wards don't give all that much. A lot of just last hits on creeps. How do you like the item choice? He's going Orchid first, it seems.
I think it's great, right? The enemy core is a Void. You get the kill on him. If you could get a kill on Veno before he pops his skills.
Or even the Wyvern,
so he
before
it gets saved,
Cold Embrace or get off. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a strong...
I think if your team is having a little bit more issues, you might want to consider things like drums or even Medallion just to help out early, but team's doing relatively fine. Lycan has stabilized the bottom lane. Visage is starting to pick up a couple of points of levels that he could start to think about more of the mid game.
Action breaking out mid. They do commit the Howl. GH gets off the fissure. Sumail's gonna die under the tower. An easy double for Matumbaman. What a catastrophe for EG. Now the spiders march in. Mind Control summons the Treants, and the zoo suddenly spawns from out of nowhere. Instantly, this tower is under huge threat.
Hey, we already talked about the Wrath of Nature, and you gotta be very careful with those dives. The Chronosphere committed. They thought they could get the kills.
And the scary thing, Lumi, is it's a long cooldown. They've got a minute and a half of free pushing, free farming, where Sumail not only can't make offensive plays, but can't easily defend the towers. But in the bottom lane, Zai tries to get aggressive here. Kuro, two-punch, man, gets the job done. He'll have his own TV show. Zai as beautiful as he is. He's not quite there.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
If
attack.
Script could switch over to Lasted real fast, the funniest thing is that our Wyvern, played by Crit, has like 42 CS. Because he's on the mid lane just splinter blasting spiders nonstop. He will continue to do so this game.
There's likely to be a very farmed pair of supports,
Yeah.
right, between the Wyvern and the Elder Titan. If they get their levels here, already level 5 on Crit. Zai's still only level 3 at 8 minutes. That's a bit of a concern as Sumail's going to move in onto Miracle. Force out the TP. Back away. Are we going to see a lane swap here?
Bottom, Kuro may be in a little bit of trouble.
They're just not having a whole lot of fun. Nobody seems too interested in helping him. Matumba Man's busy pressuring in the mid lane. Shows no signs of support. Universe just slowly getting off those auto attacks. They will secure the kill. This is the no fly zone. This is like the one lane that just nobody wants to be in. Everyone who goes here for Liquid has a bad time. Even the Lycan has also abandoned it. He's just farming top now.
Matumba Man going in with spiders. So very, very item progression.
Yeah, so Lycan just takes over top. Like, I mean, do you care if you're Liquid that nobody can farm bottom? Are you okay just giving that up?
I think so, because look at how effective Liquid could utilize the jungle, right? Like, it's so easy for Matumba Man just send a wave in, Prophet can make tree somewhere and farm. I mean, eventually somebody's going to farm bottom, but it's okay for them to miss a couple waves. Zai might be in a little bit of trouble here.
GH in pursuit. Nature's Prophet coming in, does drop the Spirit. Now the Sprout tried to block him off, couldn't quite do it. The Fissure comes through, actually helps Zai. With the Sprout, there was only a narrow tunnel that pursued him through. Back to safety. Missed opportunity there.
How worried are you about the Veno pick? Because one of the knock against Veno is that, yeah, he deals a ton of damage, but at the same time, he also doesn't scale amazingly into the late game. Generally, EG as a team, very good at playing around the strength, timing of the Venomancer, but I feel like given their laning stage and early game, I don't think they could utilize the Veno timing that well.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Arteezy is going to be the driving force of this game. I really think it's Universe who's going to be making the plays, and that's what he looks to do now in the mid lane. Gets the last off on Matumba Man. They also commit the Chrono here. Timed well by Sumail. Right as the TPs come through. The Veno ult layered over top of this. They're going to get the Matumba Man kill, but now the Echo. Follow-up isn't there. The Winter's, or the save rather, coming through from Crit. First the Winter's Curse, and then the Cold Embrace, keeping Sumail alive, finding them a 2-for-1 trade, and that's a down, who's been having a great time here. Nice victory. Now, if you're Liquid, you're probably thinking, all those ults aren't cooldown. It's time for us to go and push.
Yep. I mean, at the same time, even those ults are down, EG has, like we pointed out many times already, very good spam. So you could set up shop at a tower, but you know, the Spirit comes in, a Stomp comes in, a Splinter Blast comes in, all your summons are dead. So I don't think it's one of those scenarios where, okay, ults are down, we are going to take 2 objectives. Even though Liquid definitely wants to do that. Another silver lining for that fight is that Visage turned level 6. So he is going to start to deploy more damage. So we're going to watch this fight one more time. The one thing that we need to remember for the Team Liquid team fight is that all of the control is just a fissure. If you could survive that fissure, counter-initiate or initiate, then you're going to be off to a great shape. And I think that's something that EG definitely could exploit over and over again.
Do want to say I think that fight was won by Crit with really good Cold Embrace and Winter's Curse time to interrupt the Shaker when he's trying to combo the Void. So really nice Wyvern play there, made a huge difference. And perhaps a sign of things to come that Cold Embrace shuts down the vast majority of Liquid's damage as they make a move here on Sumail. Nice familiar stuns combo with the Desolator damage. They get the kill. Matumba Man rushing the Naked Deso on the Brood. This could open the way for an Roche, but first, lower hanging fruit. They want this tier 1 mid, they're going to get it. And I was going to say right before that, felt like I feel that tier 1 is so crucial this game for the Roche control, like for being able to take over this EG jungle. Now all of a sudden, your whole summon army can pretty much go wherever they want. The tier 2 top is down, the tier 1 mid has been cracked, and so EG's jungle is about to be invaded by a lot of webs, a lot of wolves, a horde of trees, and
Like they're gonna find Kuro. Bat Rider jumps forward.
some free pickoffs here and there. Familiar's also getting farmed up. This is one of those games where you really want a gold stat on like how much in the way of summons has been fed.
For sure.
Like the illusion gold stats are nice, you know, the minion gold stats game, I think.
Yeah, there's just so many things dying. I talk about the Plague Ward, the spiders, I guess the treants.
Overall game plan wise, Lumi, do you feel either team's done a better job at accomplishing their goals? We hit the 13-minute mark, pretty even on paper as far as net worth goes. Slight liquid advantage.
I think I've definitely underestimated what the dire support could do. Like, the Wyvern, to me, has done a lot more than expected. Zai, I expect him to do a lot, and he did. I think moving towards the mid-game, Liquid is not going to be winning it in a 5v5 teamfight scenario. They need to rat, because I don't think they could beat Winter's Curse, Venomancer ult, and Chronosphere. So, it's more about splitting up for Liquid and finding picks.
The one way they could maybe take those fights is if GH gets a big echo, and he does have a Blink Dagger coming soon.
But that echo better catch like 4 or something, because that's it, right? That's the one-shot, big burst kind of thing.
Imagine if EG had Echo Slam.
I think the server will just crash.
The game just instantly breaks. That would be awesome. Giant hole opens up in the middle of Seattle itself. KeyArena gets sucked. That doesn't happen. I mean, Valve always has some new crazy trick. Here goes Light of Heaven with his classic shrine.
For anybody that doesn't watch Dota too much, Light of Heaven, TI champion, notoriously for clicking shrines whenever he can, for absolutely no reason.
And seemingly just like out of nowhere too. It's never like, oh, there's like action happening at the shrine, or someone needs to heal. They are gonna go in now on Matumba Man. They get the lasso off, pop the dust as well. Okay. But he just scurries away to freedom. They don't want to commit too far for this. G now down the lasso. They've got all the other big AoE ults available. Will stagger back and retreat. So Mother now picking up the madness to go with that Desolator, and they do get the silence here on crit. How far do they want to dive though? That is a risky place to chase. They're not going to dare walk up that cliff.
Alright, so as the spirit goes back to Zai, I want to see how much damage he has. Casual 222 plus damage. You're wondering why he's doing so much work. This is why. Like,
yeah, we mentioned there's going to be farm supports, and you're already starting to see it. Kuroki as the Visage, not doing so hot, 1900 net worth. Meanwhile, the Wyvern and the Elder Titan both almost doubling him up. They will find Arteezy now. Familiar's coming in, gets off the Poison Nova, and munched up, chewed up. Will be finished off. Miracle, one last auto attack, gets the kill, and now the chase is on. They want Zai as well. Sprout comes through. Echo's there. No chrono for you, sir. Sumail gets denied, and with that, the Elder Titan will fall, and now it's a full-on route. Crit has to commit the Winter's Curse, try to retreat, goes for the TP out in the trees. 1-2 more auto attacks would do it, but they're not going to find him in time. Brood Mama cometh, though. Diving onto Sumail. They get the long-range Orchid Silence. Can they chase him down with the Deso auto attacks? The Mask of Madness.
Oh, the
attack
birds.
speed, not enough. Crit saves the day. Salvages it for EG, but only for now. They will lose 3. They never got off the chrono that entire fight.
Man, GH playing like a god there. Multiple chain stun to make sure that the boy has a tough time. Looks like he is going to pay for it. That will be a kill.
Even gods can bleed. GH has definitely been the most impressive addition to any team that I've seen in a long time, and coming up, like filling some, you know, relatively big shoes for Liquid on a team that had huge aspirations, and quite a few games where I feel like GH has almost single-handedly thrown the team on his back. So,
oh, for sure. To me, he's not just filling shoes; he's perhaps even excelling.
He's got his own line.
Yeah. Like, you know, we talked about Afu filling shoes for Zhao 8 earlier today for Alpha. We watched the team fight again. GH just perfect chain stun to prevent this Sumail chrono.
And that could have been like a 3-4 hero chrono into a Winter's Curse, and instead it's just a route, an EG completely on the back foot.
Although, to be fair, even if it was a 4-man chrono, I'm not sure how much damage.
Well, they had Poison Nova on 2 heroes at least, I think. It would have been an interesting fight at that point. So yeah, how do we see the game developing from here with that
Radiant are
little
scanning.
addition? Now they have the Blink Dagger ready for GH. They checking through the item builds on Liquid. It looks like Mind Control did go back for Shadow Blade, trying to complete a Silver Edge. Nothing else really unusual that I noticed. I'm wondering when Liquid will try for the Roshan. That's probably the big thing for me.
Sure.
Because they do have the tower control around it, but in the top lane they make a committed jump here onto Arteezy. And as often seems to be the case, the safe lane, poor Veno, just ends up dying a lot in the mid game.
I mean, it's just the way that you have to play this hero. You kind of have to play forward, put down wards, and just be a threat always, or be an annoyance at the very least. And as a result, he's in a very exposed position that gets picked off multiple times.
And that's fine when you have, like, I don't know, a Sumail Storm or something
exactly.
who you know is a ticking time bomb. Is a Sumail Void at 5,500 net worth in 19 minutes really that kind of a time bomb?
Not yet, but he can be. And he needs to be eventually. Chain stun happening against Zai. He's got a big streak. Can he survive? No, he won't. Mind control.
While that was happening, Matumba Man also running down crit. The supports get butchered. Sumail on his heels. He's going to time walk into the trees, but still being chased. Does have the teleport scroll, but knows that Fissure is there. They silence him. They drop the Sprout, get that little bit of vision. Now the Fissure's committed, and he should pop soul burn damage. And all the while, Matumba Man shoving in this middle lane. Liquid flexing on EG now and looking for the additional tower takedowns, but
yep,
it doesn't seem like they'll have quite the time for it. There's still big team fight ults up, and EG supports are respawning, so they'll be content with their victory here and just continue farming the enemy with it.
And LD, you were asking, what's the game plan for EG? That is, or not EG, Liquid. That what we saw is just the game plan. You don't take 5v5 team fights. You take kind of random skirmishes in the jungle. Use your mobility of the Lycan, of the Nature's Prophet, and now the Blink Shaker, and just run them over. Like, I think EG is very strong, grouped up as 5, but much less strong, much weaker actually, when, you know, it's just a 2v2 or a 2v3 in the jungle.
Starting to get out-farmed pretty heavily now. No Midases for EG. Actually, 0 points of greed. Like, every single hero's gone for early to mid-game items that'll help them take fights now. And as a result, losing these fights, losing map control, getting out-farmed, they are starting to fall behind. With looking at some big pickups soon. BKB almost ready for Matumba Man. BKB coming for Miracle. Completed Silver Edge is not far off for Mind Control. I already mentioned the Blink on the Shaker. Everybody except for Kuro is getting a lot of farm for
Mind Control dodges from a 5-man smoke gang, ports bottom, and now will start to apply pressure. I mean, this is the reason why Liquid is 4-0 right now. They're making all the right plays.
Tough situation for EG because their way of making a play is almost exclusively finding hero kills or taking a team fight. They really can't just like split push or, I don't know, sneak a Roshan.
Yep.
They don't have the heroes for that, so their options are quite limited on how to get back in the game.
I think if they were more even or ahead, like they can actually just like play it slow. But because they're down by, you know, 7k net worth, they need to be actively seeking kills. Let's imagine for a second that Liquid...
But doing that's hard, right? Because Liquid's vision game is so strong. They have Spiderlings, Wolves, Tree Ants,
everything.
Shadow
Everything
Blade, Nature's Prophet, Familiars. Like, half the map should constantly be covered in summons.
And your timing window of finding these ganks is also small because if you leave the lanes for too long, you know, you got summons in front of your buildings. And
yeah,
then,
you're actually losing objectives at that point.
And it's also becoming painfully obvious that you're trying to smoke gank Liquid, so...
A lot of pressure on EG. Like, they have to pick exactly the right times, they have to smoke in the right direction, and they have to do so quickly. If they spend too long looking for that kill, they're likely to just get scouted out or punished elsewhere.
And right now, given the nature of the game state, the room for error is just amazingly small. You lose a team fight in front of your tier 2 against this team, you're losing Raxus. Like, there's just so much push, the howl on all of the summons. I haven't seen it yet, but...
Universe does find an opening here. Lasso's up Matumba Man. Can they control him? He's got a BKB, but won't be able to use it here. Gets locked down by Sumail. Likely finished off. The Earth Splitter secures it. Chrono Earth Splitter, Lasso all down. Big Brood kill. No buyback out for a minute. So by the time he comes back, maybe a minute or so until those big ultimates are ready.
I wonder how Cavalier and Liquid would feel like with all those ult on cooldown. Maybe they could think about taking Roshan. Or, you know, go for a pick. Mind Control on the bottom. Good Glimmer Cape.
If they want to Rosh, they'll definitely have time for it when he respawns. It'll be about 50 seconds before the chrono is even up. But they'll have to be decisive. Dilly-dally, and all of a sudden, that will not be the case, as Arteezy is going to duke it out in the jungle here. He commits the Poison Nova, but again, it's GH ready to spring the trap. Liquid were smoking in this direction, anticipating EG's movements. Miracle is dangerously low, but has the armlet toggle available. Should be enough to save his life. That armlet on, await out the poison damage, and then back to safety. So, again, Liquid just feeling like they know what moves EG wants to make, and being able to either anticipate them or react extremely quickly.
Yep.
And that should probably set up for this roast. Poison Nova on cooldown, no chrono for 50 seconds if they want to go for it. This
got the medallion for Visage, obviously, and look at Roshan drop. One of the interaction that we haven't mentioned, and definitely should, is the fact that Howl is such a good way to kind of soften the blow from the Venomancer ultimate. Essentially acts as a mech for nighttime. We saw it, being instrumental in terms of surviving against.
Looking for when Liquid has their full complement of heroes and summons all grouped up and really trying to take a big fight. But for now, they're content with that Rosh. Do imagine they're going to try and keep the map spread here. I doubt we see all 5 marching down mid, but maybe 2 or 3 there, 1 or 2 in the other side lanes. Complete the Silver Edge of Mind Control. Items continue to pile in, the double BKB. Well, actually, no, Miracle changed his mind about the BKB. Went for Reaver instead.
Okay, going for the heart, being tanky. Now for EG fans out there, I think one thing that EG can still hold on to is their insane high ground defense, right? Talked about it during the draft, Vano wards. Crit? Oh, well, that is part of their high ground defense.
Look at this, the Wolf just on the high ground scouting Sumail. There's another one that's following Arteezy back into the base. He's not even bothering to use the Wolves to farm anymore. They are purely there to keep eyes on EG, and historically, Lumi, when Lycan used to be a really popular pick, Gem was considered absolutely mandatory for countering him.
Yep.
And right now, no Gem for EG, so...
Speaking of Gem, Liquid's got one of their own. So on the courier right now, being sent back. Liquid GH used it to deward a bit?
That was the one that EG had earlier. Universe had one previously, and now it's been stolen. But yeah, without the Gem, there's like the Lycan is a real problem. The Brood is quite annoying. Even the Nature's Prophet with the Silver Edge. Like you've got 3 heroes / units that are constantly running around invis, scouting you out, and potentially Gary. Now that all that said, EG's high ground is extremely difficult to crack if they're full complement of ability.
Right, if they're alive. And I think, what we saw, like killing the Wyvern, for example, are the other plays that Liquid's going to go for. They're not going to push high ground when all 5 EGs alive. They're going to...
And if they do, it's not going to be all 5 in one lane. It's going to be 1 core in each lane, and who knows what else the familiars are up to. Rotation up top. Mind Control trying to make a move here on Sumail. Sprouts him in, silences him, and just harassing him for now. Sumail's like, you man. Know that he can actually kill an NP this farm. 2,300 health. Quelling Blade.
Okay, he's got it. He's fine. I'm sure Arteezy's gave him the lesson.
While all that's happening, the real action is in mid. Matumba Man charging in, marching on to Zai, trying to bring him down. They've already finished off the Wyvern. Multiple bashes there, but the silence against He rotates mid. Mind Control there to greet him.
Well, Wyvern's dead. That's a big part of the base defense. No Splinter Blast, no threat of the curse.
That's the thing, right? Like, it looked like it's just kind of funny what Mind Control's doing top, but that also is setting up for these plays elsewhere on the map.
Yeah.
And then he's instantly there to join the fight. His BKB almost complete as well, so seems like Liquid evaluated this game and said, if we get mass BKBs, EG will not be able to kill our cores very easily in team fights, and this Void is just not that far, Bloomy. Doesn't even have a mat to complete. He's really the only source of physical damage. I mean, aside from the Elder Titan, you talked theoretically about how much damage you'd get from the Spirit, but practice, not even a max Spirit, and I don't think Zai's going to be hitting much in fights.
Yeah, that's the thing. He is getting a ton of damage. It's more that whether he could go in and actually right-click people. And so far, it doesn't seem like that's the case.
I love these multiple BKBs. If they get them off, like they're just not going to die.
Yeah, BKB is so effective in this game. Like, Void right now isn't doing enough physical damage on his own. EG is pretty much all magical apart from the Void, right? Even Winter's Curse, the BKB will block the effects of it in terms of, like, having your teammates, or having you, like, forcing to hit your teammates. Oh, it's super effective.
Is there like a late game opportunity here for EG? Can they just turtle up, batten down the hatches, and aim to take this 40, 50, 60 minutes? Do you think their odds improve at that stage?
I don't think so. I just think that there's a lot of room for Liquid to grow.
Like, so just building towards the Zags?
Yeah.
Still some item slots here on all of the cores. You've got Veno, who doesn't really... I mean, I guess on paper scales pretty well once the BKBs are lower. Building towards an Eggs. You've got Elder Titan, who's pretty good late game.
Okay, Bat Rider on top lane. Get something going.
Beware of the bat. But Miracle's on the case. Suddenly Universe just wants to get the hell out of dodge. 2, 3, 4 auto attacks, and he would be down, but the evasion was there from the Solar Crest, so instead crit. This is the sacrifice. Miracle racing forward.
But here's the thing.
The Wyvern is almost a bigger deal than the Bat Rider, especially because Lasso was used. Now they don't have Winter's Curse for the high ground defense. And all the while, they're ratting bottom. Matumba Man was forced to BKB. But here we go. They're going to pull EG apart at the seams.
Yeah, bottom, the Treants are still going on the building. Top is sitting the building as well. Rat Dota fully employed. The tier 3 should go down here. Miracle might actually get stunned up. His Aegis has been triggered, but he's got the heart, so he's just so damn tanky.
They need Sumail top to take a big head-on fight. They really need that Chronosphere, but Sumail is not there yet. The Fissure comes through, buying them time. GH ready with the Echo. They do get the Miracle kill. Earth Splitter. The rescue.
But bottom, though, Matumba Man's on the tier 3 as well. Now, trading your, I guess, your position on Lycan for just a little bit of tower damage is not that good of a trade, but...
They just did about 2,700 HP and tier 3 tower damage.
Yeah.
And they lost the Lycan for it.
The thing is, like, sure, you lost your Lycan, but what is the punish? Like, is EG going to run down mid and take some objective? No. They're not going to be able to get Roche, so... Even though that was not the best play for Team Liquid, they're just not going to be punished for it. And to me, Crit needs to watch his positioning. To me, he's probably like position 2 in terms of how important he is in terms of a defense. He cannot get picked off.
Yeah, almost certainly the Veno is going to be able to get his ult off, and then after that it really doesn't matter. The Bat Rider is expendable once he's gotten the Lasso initiation. It's really the Wyvern who has to sit back and wait for an opportune time to get the Cold Embrace or the Curse off, and that was... can kind of understand, like, Crit wants to help keep Universe alive. He's being chased. He is a core, but yeah, I agree with you. I think he's probably their second most important hero after the Void for defending the base.
Top lane here. RTZ gonna get caught, and Echo Slam hits, I think, nothing?
I think some of the damage hit him, but didn't even get the Aftershock.
I believe the Wrath of Nature just actually clipped Universe on bottom, gets a kill. Matumba Man's in the base right now. And, well, backdoor protection is
Space created, and they're going to go bottom for him, and that means Liquid opportunity here in the top lane. They'll get to work with the Enchant Totem. They'll bring that tower down. The base is collapsing. EG having a rough start here at the International, and it might just be getting rougher. Liquid, meanwhile, surging forward. They want these objectives. Have they gotten too cocky in going for them, though? Miracle's got to get the hell out of there. EG hold the line for now. They've committed most of their big ultimates, but the bottom lane's been caved in. Matumba Man racing towards the next objective as he struts up on the tier 2. Mind Control joins the party as well. He will be controlled for now by Sumail getting the bashes, but all space created. The Treants working on the melee rack. The Spiders working on the mid, and everywhere you look, Liquid are just chewing apart at EG. They've given up 3 heroes, and they have indisputably taken a massive victory in this fight. Not often you would say that.
Yeah, I mean, had they lost a Lycan, you would be like, oh, maybe that was a little bit sloppy, but it doesn't even matter. Liquid now is just pulling them apart. And like I mentioned so many times now, EG just want to take a 5v fight, and Liquid would never give it to them. They would just keep splitting open, push top, middle, bottom.
Now Shrines are going to go down.
Yep.
Your base is increasingly open to the next assault, and
how many Raxes are left? 2 range Raxes?
2 ranged. Very bleak.
So where do you think it went wrong for EG? To me, it was...
Yeah, no, I don't really know how they were supposed to have a decent laning stage. Like, we even mentioned, you know, Brood could well be going mid as Liquid picked that. And I mean, maybe Veno does on his
Well,
lane as expected.
They didn't know the Brood was coming, right? Like, so I guess
That's true. But
the Brood was the final pick.
I don't know. I just don't think. I think the way when EG picked this type of lineup, right? They have the Venomancer for Arteezy, a very selfless hero. You've got a Space Creator for Universe, the Bat Rider. You know, it's not like an offlane Void or something for him. They don't really have a support who can transition into carry. Basically, your whole lineup is built around a Sumail's hero getting ultra fat.
Yep.
And it was a Void against the Broodmother mid. Like, he's not going to win that lane. Certainly not without help. And even if he does, can a Void actually carry this game? Like, he's so reliant on the ult, which is a very long cooldown.
Not in 30 minutes,
And
right?
you're up against heroes that love to take lots of little fights. So I just think strategically it was always going to be hard for EG based on that. But that said, Liquid have played it extremely well. Here they go on Matumba Man. They smoke up. They make a big committed dive, and they try, but already the TP goes onto the mid-tier 3. They're looking for the rat. Even if they lose this fight, Liquid might well just win the game. It's the war, not the battle, that they're concerned with as the Echo gets dropped. Sumail almost finished off, but Crit able to keep him alive. Courtesy of that Cold Embrace, still he's stunned, still he's controlled, glimmered up. What more can Crit possibly do? Well, be two places at once. That's something that he can't do. Mind Control puts a cap on it. That's Megas, boys. And that's likely the game.
Alright, Liquid is... They're going to kill Hero now. They don't really care about buildings anymore. There are no buildings. Crit on the run. He's probably going to survive, but does it even matter?
Effigies are falling. EG just getting peppered from all sides by little pokes. Death by 1,000 cuts. And Lumi, you know, I have to say Admiral Bulldog might not have made it here to the International in body, but I think his legacy lives on in spirit.
Yeah. In more than one ways.
Liquid paying quite the tribute.
We saw a lot of self-debating from Cloud9. I think there's definitely a lot of Admiral Bulldog spirit in that as well. But Team Liquid,
I don't know that I've seen anyone execute Rat this well since those TI3 days. This is masterful performance thus far.
I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Liquid, but to me, I think the strategy that EG employed is just not going to be able to fight Liquid on the same axis. Liquid wants to play against a team that groups up. Because they're not going to group up against you, they're going to split open. And EG with the Void final pick, the reason I don't like it, it's not the fact that he can't carry against his team, it's that he forces his team to group up. Like, for a Void to fight, he has to group up with his team. I think, you know, a Storm-esque hero where he's going off to do his own thing to actually punish the split push might be better. Now, obviously Storm was banned, but I don't know, Ember or anything that just is so more mobile and could solo kill.
Maybe that is part of the issue, is EG might have thought about it and they're like, well, we just don't know what that hero is. You know?
I think you mentioned Ember during the draft.
Yeah. Would Ember have been...
It would have been better than this, I think.
I think so. I think so too. But I don't feel like it would have been Storm in terms of like, definitely being able to take over and carry the game.
Right.
Anyway, that's all water under the bridge now. All EG have left is this shamble of a base with just a few outer structures, and GH, dagger to the heart, he drops the totem, gets to work. Meanwhile, Arteezy's getting chewed up by Miracle. Take that, he says. Now 3 down, Munch through. They've used all their ultimates. They're out of options here, and the boys in blue are going to drop another one on day 1. Liquid say, we're the real boys in blue now. They'll take EG down, and with that, they are out to a 1-0 lead, and they are 5-0 on the day.
Wow.
I think that's wow-worthy.
Yeah, that is actually wow-worthy. Doing it against EG as well. Coming in there, we know that these are the 2 of the top teams.
I love how, I will say one thing I like about this Liquid team, they just look so business-like after a win. You know, like in the group stage, obviously you want teams to celebrate and enjoy it at the main event, and they did that, I think, at Epicenter we saw that, but, you know, they're not like, oh yeah, we beat OG, or EG, you know, like they're focused on the task at hand.
You think this is the Curl effect, you know, he's been into every TI, he's seen everything, you know.
It definitely feels like the whole team has a bit of Kuro in them.
Yeah, yeah, well, of course. He's the captain.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Yeah. He's like, you know,